How's it going, guys? I'm put together a little video of kind of my radiant floor system, and hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to try to touch on all the little parts of it. It's pretty well custom because I'm doing it pretty much all myself. And so if you have questions, put it down in the comments below, and I'll see if I can answer them for you if it's stuff I didn't obviously cover in the video. So here's the wall in our utility room in the basement where we're going to mount all the manifold system, and there'll be a heat exchanger, we'll have a pump, and then all of our incoming lines, or excuse me, our send lines will come in from one side, all of our return lines we could bring in from the floor, and I'll tie it all together. Just wanted to show you my production area here. I'm doing lots and lots of soldering, sweating, which I should probably cover that up, probably a trademark problem right there. Sorry guys. Anyways, I have nearly everything I need, but I'm working on building my manifold. As you can see, I'm using 1-inch copper. This is just the beginning of the branches, I guess, running up to the different runs, and working on my little tiny valves. I'm going to build into the actual manifold blocks where, you know, all the hoses will come for the runs will come to each one of those shut-off valves. And those will be tied together and then brought into the rest of the system. So I'll try to catch some videos of it as it progresses here, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I've got going on here. So it's starting to come together, guys. Getting this manifold system built for our in-floor radiant floor heat. And I'll spin the camera around here so you guys don't have to look at me. And you can look at this. So as you can see, we've got several runs starting. Hold on a second, I'm getting all sorts of notifications at 7 o'clock in the evening. Some runs here for the upstairs. TNN here and here. More freaking updates. And then the concrete, what's in the foundation is right there. What's in the concrete foundation of the basement's right there. So those are the runs. That's why we've got those loop valves there. I think what those are called, but they're electronic valves that will be tied into the thermostat. So when the thermostat calls for heat, it'll open up the valve electronically and then allow water to go to whatever part in the house is calling for water. Just about got this part all tied in on the returns. Those two up high are for the returns from upstairs coming down. Then there's also 3 more small ones down here. And then I've got a T right there that's going to drop down and come over for the returns from the floor of the basement, from the foundation. So I will go over a little bit more of an in-depth interview here, but I've got my soldering station all set up here, and I've got a little more soldering to do, and I'll be done with that finally. Been pretty much at this for about a week, and I'm kind of tired of soldering. So we will try and keep you updated on what's going on here. Just finally finished all of my soldering. I had a pair of 5-run manifolds to build for our garage heat and mudroom heat runs, which come in through the concrete wall. There's a group of them there, and the other ones are back right there. It's difficult to see them from the ground. But we have little pipe chases. We put some 4-inch or 3-inch PVC through the ICF forms before we poured concrete, so we could run those through, and then ran those underneath the slab of the garage and the laundry room / mudroom before we poured that slab. So those sets of runs are connected to this 3/4 inch. Sorry about the light. Oxygen barrier that runs over, and it's just kind of hanging up here right now, but it'll be attached to that'd be the send, and then one of these two would be the return. So you get our main trunk of water going up across, and then manifold out up here in the ceiling. Be a little different, but it's my house, so I'll be able to manage it. No big deal. But yeah. So now I'm gonna work on getting all this crimped together. All of my PEX lines are just hanging right now. I need to crimp all of my fittings. I've got a trunk line out in the main part of the basement that runs along the top of that wall right there, which the run's going back and forth through those floor joists. Just tee off of that trunk line. I'll do a lot of crimping out there with T's and shut-off valves, each one of those runs, so I can control them if I need to. And so I got a lot of plumbing yet to do. Once that's all done, we're going to pressure test it, and that's probably when I'll get back to with the video, is when I'm actually putting air pressure into the lines to make sure I don't have any leaks. Alright guys, so I have pressure tested my system 3 separate times. The first 2 times I found obvious leaks. The first one, I'll show you here real quick, was this soldered joint right here. Once I got some air put to the system, I could hear it hissing out. It was very obvious. So I just heated up, added a little flux, and then resoldered it. And it seemed to be good after that. Pressurized it a second time and found 2 PEX fittings out in the main part of the ceiling area over here. Oh, down at the end of that run, there's 2 elbows that go up, and they run through an upstairs wall to the 2nd story, or what I'd call the loft floor for those heat runs. And there's actually 2 separate leaks. I could spray, the water soap solution on it, and could see air coming out of one elbow and then one shut-off valve. So I replaced those, and I put air to it a 3rd time, and I could not determine a leak anywhere. However, over about a day's time, went from 50 pounds of pressure down to 0. So I still have a leak somewhere, and I've sprayed a lot of the joints that I can see easily, and haven't found a single leak. So My concern is that it could be in the concrete, which would be sad. So I decided this would be my leak detection system. I'm gonna pump water into the system, and only like, there's 3 5-gallon buckets, none of them are completely full, so let's say there's 12 gallons there total. And then I've got another 2.5-gallon jug. So I've got somewhere around 14 gallons of water so that I'll pump into the system. I've got a little transfer pump and pump it in, and then I'll probably have to put some air to it to bring it up to maybe 30 or 40 pounds of pressure, and see if I can visibly see where the water is leaking out at. I'm hoping it's like one of these soldering joints, or maybe one of these, like a threaded fitting like right there or something, where I can just tighten it up or something, or resolder it. If it's in the concrete, which if you'll notice, I've got all my runs and returns shut off in the floor of the basement, and it's difficult to see, but I've got a manifold there of sends and a manifold up there of returns. I've got all those valves shut off as well. I'm gonna initially just isolate just the runs that are up in the OSB, up in the floor of the main level and the loft, and obviously the whole manifold, pump, pressure relief, air eliminator, pressure tank, all this part of the system. I'm going to test this first for leaks, and then go from there. So we'll see what we find here. Well, it seems to be working, because that's gone from 0 to almost 5 pounds already. So clearly it's moving some water in there. And we're up to 10 pounds of pressure. And I did see one little leak right here, and I've already tightened that up. I didn't even realize that air would come, or water would get through this way. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm gonna have to research that more. And another leak was right underneath here. They're real minute. They're just a few drips, but it was coming out. So maybe that's where I was losing my water at, or my air from my initial tests. Hard to say. Starting to regulate here. That's up to about maybe 8 or 9 pounds. But this is on the top end. The other gauge is on the bottom end. It's just right at 10, maybe. Yeah, right at 10. Let's call it 10. Be friends. That sounds crazy. I can hear water running everywhere upstairs. What I've been doing is each line that goes down, move that thing now. Each line that runs down to the concrete, obviously the only parts I can see are what is above the concrete. So as you can see, I've opened up each loop one at a time, made sure the system was up to my 32 pounds of pressure, and then waited like a day or two and made sure that my pressure didn't drop. So I can see my first one here. I opened, what was the date? April 17th. Made sure there's 32 pounds of pressure. That was run number 1. Then the 18th, run number 2. For some reason I skipped like 4 days. 22nd, number 3, and number 4 on the 23rd. Every time when I'd open it up, of course my pressure in the system would drop a few pounds. I'd bring it back up with air to 32 pounds, and then come back and check it a day or two later, and we're good. Of course, I opened up the runs, or the returns, excuse me, of those runs, so that there was no, I guess, false negative if there was some sort of an error situation here. So I opened up all these simultaneously. Like if I opened up run 1, I'd open up return 1. Return 1's actually down here. Anyways, I'm working currently up here on the ceiling and opening up these runs and returns that run through the ICF form. We have a little pipe chase, and they get underneath the slab of the mud room in the garage. I've done 1 run and 2 run, or 1 send and 2 send. Excuse me, 1 send, 3 send. These are all out of order because just the way they came through the wall, I could not change them easily. So I've got 3 more to open up. Thus far, nothing in the concrete has leaked, and I'm ecstatic about that, because if that leaks, you're just SOL. All right, so a quick update on the pressure of the manifold system. Let's see which one would be best for you to look at here. Holding steady at 32, 33 pounds. I actually had 32 pounds in it. It's probably at 33, but there's been a pretty decent temperature increase since the last run I opened and added air to the system to bring it back up to my 32 pounds. The temperature's gone up probably 20 degrees outside and probably inside this house too. 10 according to that thermometer on the wall. Anyways, no leaks in anything under the concrete, as far as I can tell. We've been sitting at this pressure here for, it's going to be going on 2 days now at this point. So that's pretty good. Pretty good sign there's nothing leaking anywhere that I can't get to. Like I said before, if it was under the concrete, you just abandon whatever line you determine is leaking. That's how I understand it. I mean, I guess you could go up and cut up all your concrete, like if you had endless amounts of time and money, but I don't, so I wouldn't do that. I would just abandon the line that was leaking if I had a line leaking, which don't seem to, and that's a good thing. So that'll probably tie together all of this video. If you guys enjoy my content, you enjoy this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate your subscription. I appreciate your time watching my video. God bless and hold the line.